you ready for this too, America? Well, too late because it's happening. It's Valentine's Day, so I would like to send a very love-filled Friday out to the world and a big heart to my beautiful wife, Paola. I love you, baby. You're so amazing. I'm so happy that you're in my life. And I'm Arthur Rawe. I'm super excited to have this happy Friday. It's not too often that we get one on Valentine's Day, so this is kind of fun. And of course, across from the table from me is Kevin Supercalifragilist Batstone.
Happy Friday, America. Great to see you. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone out there and your sweeties. Welcome to the digital era of Happy Friday, America. The scripts are gone. We no more paper in hand. I got a laptop in front of me. Art's running it off the phone this week. It's a new era. What do we have in history, Art?
What we got in history, well, I'm going to jump into 1876. So this is all about the telephone. So apparently when the first patent came out, there were two people that had both submitted a patent for the first telephone in 1876. It was eventually given to Alexander Graham Bell as who it was given to, but I didn't realize that. Like, there are two people doing that, and it's kind of interesting when you look back at history how the light bulbs, like everyone's doing this stuff at the same time. Who could come up with the patent first?
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know there was a battle like that for the telephone, which is pretty interesting.
I believe there's a museum of telephones in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Okay.
Where they have like all these original ones.
Okay, see, that would be fun. That would be fun.
Yeah.
You know, when I was a kid, like the big block in the cars, that was like, if you had a car cell phone, then you were
balling.
Yeah, you were balling. 1899, U.S. Congress begins using voting machines. So obviously they weren't electronic back then. How did those work? Were they as susceptible nowadays to targeted attacks? I don't know. But that's when they first started using the machines.
Interesting.
Yes. And we're going to keep this thing moving now to 1929, St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Okay? So this is when 7 gangsters were killed in Chicago, allegedly on Al Capone's orders. I know I was talking about this on Discussion Combustion yesterday, and if you've been around me at the dinner table, I'm probably talking Sopranos, so I had to throw in a little bit of mafioso on this one.
Hey, we love it.
It's a great show.
We love it.
The dream scenes. Okay, man, we got to keep this going. So 1991, Silence of the Lambs drops on Valentine's Day. 1992, Wayne's World drops on Valentine's Day. I don't know what movies are dropping today. I didn't search. I should have checked, but
I think there's some.
That's today in history.
Yeah, there's some shit that's coming out today. And of course, I'm sure there's a lot of other Valentine's Day history in there, Art. So here we go. Thanks for the history recap there.
Yeah, it's always fun. And you're coming in with some Japanese tech. So
yeah, this is interesting.
They're innovating out there.
Well, they're doing something a little interesting here. So this is a company that's out in Japan that does technology. And so there's roughly about 60 people that currently work for the company, and they've had 0% turnover.
Okay.
So it's obvious that they're taking good care of these guys. The compensation's great. But what's interesting about this article, and I would encourage folks to read it down here on fortune.com, listed in the show notes down below, is they're offering hangover leave. Okay.
Okay. So it's not like a sick day.
It's not a sick day. It is. But the way that I read into this a little bit. So they're scheduled to show up for work for 9 a.m. They are allowed to use their hangover leave and come in at noon. So they get a 3-hour window to recover a little bit more from the night before of partying. And it's just part of their, compensation benefit package for working for this organization as they get hangover leave. My question is, like, you can't be using that all the time. Like, this has to be a super, like, we had a company outing, we took some clients out, we had some drinks, we're going to take a hangover leave. If you're doing this 3 times a week, you're abusing the system.
Well, yeah, and then at what point are you enabling substance abuse?
Well, that as well.
You know, so it's like, oh, this tech company, it's so stressful. Like, we expect you to go home and drink because you don't know how else to handle all the stress.
I mean, I work for the largest distributor of wine and spirits in America, and we don't have anything like this.
Yeah.
We sell alcohol.
Well, I know Japan is at a birth deficit, and at the rate that they're at, their society could collapse. So they want to take like immigrants right now. They probably are trying to make any job as attractive as possible to encourage people to go there. So I'm sure it has something to do with those type of politics, which is, I would just say I was hungover and be sleeping in some days.
Yeah, I think the only gripe I have with this, and the reason I'm glad we're not doing that here yet, I'm sure there'll be a California company that adopts it at some point, is I think it's just promoting more of that gray area of loosen up the leash and not having a tight grip on your workers.
Mm.
Too much freedom, man. They're going to run with it. We know that's how people are.
Yeah, and when there's a lack of urgency, change does not occur. I will tell you that much.
This is a great quote.
Yes, and we're gonna keep this moving. So big oil is something that we all depend on. Unfortunately, we need that, and it's super important. And these big oil companies, they do a lot of surveying all over the world and don't always necessarily find oil. So this was actually a cool article that turned out to be some great news to help hydrate Zimbabweans. Zimbabweans. I don't know if how do you say from people from Zimbabwe. It's going to hydrate the people from there for at least a century.
Wow.
So what they found, the oil company that found this is Rudin AS, I think is what they're called, or that was an engineer. And basically, they found this huge natural water well that will help people have a source of water, which is there is a water scarcity in a lot of places, and they've shared this information. So I just wanted to give this one a little highlight because sure, oil companies are damaging the planet in a lot of different ways. We're taking our natural resources that obviously our society runs on. It's a necessary evil. But then to sit around here and and even though they didn't find what they're looking for, to pass along that information, which researchers to find water and that kind of stuff, they didn't have the resources to actually go do all these surveying that the oil companies, they have all this money to do it. And so passing along that information to actually help others, I think is just, it's nice to see a little silver lining of selflessness within this oligarchy of money, oil, and greed, right? So
Yeah.
I just wanted to point that one out.
Well, I mean, and look at some of the numbers here. I mean, 5,000 cubic meters of water, and its annual recharge rate is 2,000 cubic meters per water. That's enough power to furnish millions with clean drinking water for generations to come.
Yeah,
So the fact that it's clean, the fact that it's also rechargeable by 2,000 cubic meters, that's a lot of water.
that is.
That's a lot of water.
It is, and it's just that resource that's been sitting there. And honestly, water is the most important resource on this planet.
It's the most essential thing to life.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? You can go 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, 3 minutes without air.
Yep, that's how the saying goes.
But we've learned that people can go longer than 3 weeks without food. But that's another story.
Yeah.
You can't go that long without water.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not eating food, like you're still getting some sort of substance.
I'm optimistic that we get clean drinking water to Flint, Michigan.
Dude, I mean, it's been like, what, 20 years?
Yeah, we're going to get it cleaned up.
It's ridiculous.
We're going to get it cleaned up.
That's ridiculous. Let's keep it moving here.
All right, David Rush, baby. He's back.
He's back.
It's time for my random records. I mean, look, Record Breaker Rush has been out there doing it weekly, but this one I had to highlight. I highly encourage the viewers to scroll down, click it, and watch this YouTube video. The sound that he was making, I can't even replicate it.
Gotta see the video.
David Rush takes an apple, 198 bites out of an apple in 1 minute while juggling 3 at a time and biting them as he's doing this. New record, 198 bites, 3 ball juggles in 1 minute.
Yeah, the coordination, he was practicing. I mean, we talked to this guy, and
but I mean, he would look like an animal out there doing that.
Yeah.
And then you saw the slow-mo.
That's what I was going to say.
It was so...
That was the cool part.
He was synchronized.
When it hits slow-mo, you're like, damn, this dude is
intense.
Doing some shit.
It's almost comical just because of how epic it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I would encourage folks to watch this. But yeah, Rush now holds the record for taking 198 bites while juggling the 3 apples in 1 minute.
Yeah, and he could have done more, but he got too much apple in his point.
He had to spit some out.
He had to spit it out.
He could have broke 200.
Yeah, that slowed him down just a little bit. But I encourage people to check that out.
That was a good video.
And we talked to David Rush on Discussion Combustion, man, and when you talk to people who are out there really trying to get after stuff and they're pushing themselves, they are helping others find that strength within themselves. And I just have so much respect for that type of mentality and attitude. And I think he's a great father and a great husband. And he's obviously holding it down, breaking these records and doing something with his time, man. And so I really respect that.
Same. No, Record Breaker Rush, man. The the resilience, the toughness that he has. That man's got a lot of grit, and he is out there to just completely dominate the world record market.
Let's go. Give it up for David Rush yet again. A happy Friday America favorite. Next, we're going to jump into the Would You Rather. Last week's Would You Rather, of course, is would you rather give up eating rice for the rest of your life or give up eating noodles for the rest of your life? We both opted to giving up rice.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
What did America say? What did the world say?
According to our current poll data over there at our Twitter X page at Happy Fry, 75% are giving up noodles.
75% are giving up the noodles?
And yep. Only 25% are going to give up are going with us, giving up rice, keeping noodles.
Really?
75% of America went against us on that, and they're keeping the rice, getting rid of the noodles. Like I said last week, you're throwing out, I had spaghetti and meatballs last night. That would have been a no-go.
Yeah, I mean, I ate sushi after we did that Would You Rather, and I was thinking about how I couldn't have this anymore.
It's funny how we went and ate the things that, well, actually, no, I ate the thing that I kept.
Yeah. And then I was like getting into that. So thanks to everyone for voting. It's a lot of fun with these Would You Rathers. Of course, it's Valentine's Day.
Oh, boy.
So I came up with just an easy one for Valentine's Day, and this is about receiving a gift.
Okay.
So, ladies, gentlemen, both of you feel free to answer this question. For Valentine's Day, would you rather receive a nice piece of jewelry or would you rather receive like a nice fancy dinner? You can't have both. Which way are you going on this, Kev?
Well, I mean, it's kind of hypothetical because I don't usually receive jewelry. I don't think I've ever received jewelry from anyone on Valentine's Day.
So that sounds like that would be nice.
Yeah, but I'm not really
to receive
the only jewelry I wear is a watch.
Like maybe a bracelet then, like a nice bracelet.
I'm not a big jewelry guy, you know that.
You know?
Yeah, it's not my style. So on that,
I mean, jewelry could even be like something like a belt piece or like
a belt buckle.
Yeah, or like cufflinks or like
cufflinks would be cool.
Or nice glasses could be jewelry. No,
I don't know.
Can glasses be considered?
That's more apparel.
Jewelry.
I think that's apparel.
But you wear jewelry.
You do.
So you wear glasses.
Yeah, but this isn't jewelry.
But these are glasses. Fashion.
It's fashion.
Isn't jewelry like a sense of fashion?
Yeah, it's one little nugget of fashion. It's not fashion as a whole.
Okay, I'm not going to debate you on here again because last time you won. So
of course I did.
So what are you going? Are you going fancy dinner? Or are you going jewelry?
Well, I think based on what I just said, I'm going to take the nice dinner and the night out, the experience.
Yeah.
The nice meal, maybe some dancing, some romance, stuff like that. Or, you could even tie in like a homemade gift or something into that, like, a thoughtful, a thoughtful poem or something nice for someone that's, comes from the heart or whatever.
Okay.
Rather than, something tangible like jewelry. I don't know. I mean, look, any gift is a nice action. But as you know, the greatest gift you can give someone is the gift of your time.
Yes.
And so I'm taking the dinner.
Taking the dinner. I'm going with the jewelry this week.
I am not surprised by that at all.
No, because check this out. Like, I'll have the dinner. That'll be a nice night. But like, I'm not going to be like praising my poop for years because that dinner was so good. But
you have the memories.
Yeah. And I'll also be wearing a memory being like, oh, wow. I got this for Valentine's Day. This is so fresh, so clean. How you going, America? Would you rather receive a nice piece of jewelry or a really nice fancy dinner for Valentine's Day? Happy Valentine's Day. What we got next, Kev?
All right, we're moving it into zoo art. Okay, this is an interesting article here that I found over there on one of our favorite sources, UPI. They're fantastic. There is a zoo holding an auction for paintings that are made by penguins and giraffes.
Okay.
And, look, I'm not a real artsy-fartsy kind of guy, but I could see something like this being pretty profitable.
I would take away the artsy part, but keep the other part.
I am pretty fartsy. I have a lot of body gas.
One time when I was doing construction, this kid found out my name was Art, and he harassed me.
Called you Fart?
Yeah, he called me Arty Farty.
I've never called you that.
While I was doing this construction site, and I don't like that kid for doing that to me. Side note.
All right, Arty Farty. Time to party with Arty. And so this zoo is...
Better not be tardy.
You better not be tardy to the party with Arty. So these masterpieces are going to go to the animal art auction, which I'm assuming a lot of the proceeds are going to go to better help, zoos and animal sanctuaries around the country.
Hopefully it helps the encagement stuff because I'm always seeing these animals getting loose from all these different zoos.
I know, we've covered that a few times. They need to tighten up the fencing.
Yeah, like make better jails for these animals with these proceeds.
Yeah, I mean
I'm
anything we
joking.
can do because I'm not a huge animal captivity person coming from a guy that has a fucking fish tank with fish that are in captivity.
Yeah,
But I try to give them the best environment that I can in there. But you know what I mean, like the shamus and using these
yeah,
animals
no.
as entertainment. I'm not really a big fan of that. But once again, if you click this link, you can see some of these paintings that they made. Kind of fun. I mean, you just have an animal walking around with a painting apparatus dripping shit onto a
Hmm.
canvas. I mean, you could probably do it yourself and say an animal made it, but it's fun that they got the animals involved and they're getting the community involved. This the actual auction itself is featured for March 15th,
Okay.
so we got about a month to plan for that. And this is in New York.
Excuse me.
This is going to be a New York Zoo. I'm assuming it's somewhere in the upstate area. But in any case, more details down in the show notes if you want to get involved with this art auction.
I think it's fun, and like really anything could end up being art, and I bet you the animals have fun with it too,
Yeah, it's fun.
as long as they're like safe paints, like they're like non-toxic paint for these
Yeah,
animals.
I would hope that they're not using something from Sherwin-Williams that you paint your bathroom with,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, they have to consider that for sure. But it's a nice way to help contribute to keeping animals captive.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm like fucking around. I'm fucking around.
And you get a nice piece of art to hang on your wall that a giraffe made.
You do, and like that will be a unique piece. And there is a power
I wonder if
behind
they get the
original art.
koala bears involved with that.
Koalas are hella cute.
I
So,
haven't debuted that yet.
oh, I was gonna call you super koala fragilistic,
Oh,
Batstone.
I see what you're trying to do there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I didn't do that.
more to come on that.
We're gonna keep animal talk here for a little bit more. I have good news for the coral reefs and a new technology that could potentially lead more of the food, the plankton that corals feed off of, that will lead more of that resource to the corals to help reestablish the coral reefs. As we know, coral reefs are one of the most important uh, biodiverse places in the ocean. They house more than 1/3 of all aquatic animals, but they take up less than 1% of the ocean. So they're a super rare and important environment for animals. And we know that the corals have been dying in a lot of different areas. So, in order to bring life back to the corals, um, they have built these underwater zooplankton enhancement light arrays. It's a UZELA, and basically it's just that, an underwater light that attracts this zooplankton to the corals. So they're seeing some success with this, but there are also concerns with how lights will affect other aquatic animals.
Right.
So they're making sure to time it up so different migratory patterns are not disrupted by the lights for other aquatic animals. So they're trying to dial it in so they can use them when they can, and then they're off when it might disrupt other animals. But they have been seeing some success to dead coral reefs and also established ones, bringing some more life back. So it's a new modern way to use light to attract life.
I think it's interesting. I like how they're kind of comparing it and wording it as what a bird feeder would look like if you adopted it to feed coral reefs,
Hmm.
because that kind of paints the picture of what they're trying to do here. What was the name of that plankton that you saw when you were in Jamaica?
The bioluminescent
Yeah,
plankton.
because like that
Mm.
naturally gives off quite a bit of
A blue hue.
yeah, that you can see like in dark,
Yes,
right? Like it almost glows.
it does.
I wonder how that species would interact with this.
Well, I mean, maybe they attract the plankton.
You think
Like,
they do?
like maybe that's what they use it for. Maybe it's actually a defense mechanism, but I don't know because then it illuminates them. So I'm not too sure. Maybe it brings
Yeah.
what they eat. Like I'm not a
Marine biologist?
marine biologist by any
Neither am I.
means, you know?
I don't. I can barely even pronounce some of the names.
Yeah, yeah, but I think it's really interesting, and I still can't stop thinking about that article like a month ago about how I think that they should put speakers in the jungle
Oh
to
yeah.
help eliminate mosquitoes mating. It's just interesting stuff here.
You know what dawned on me? I don't know if I said this on Happy Friday. Remember the article I did about the doomfish that washed up on the California shores from the Japanese folklore?
I think so.
Did this?
Yeah,
It was like 8 weeks ago. I did that article,
yeah,
and we're like, "What's coming to California?" And then the horrific wildfires came.
huh?
So I wanted to circle back to that Japanese folklore that these fish that were washing up on California's
Yeah,
beaches was said that doom was coming, and it did.
And it did come.
So
I mean, you give anything enough time, like.
Yeah, but that was almost like a week later.
Damn.
So that was something I wanted to circle back to while we were on that. But in any case, this is pretty cool. So it looks like the Coral Restoration Foundation is in Hawaii.
It is.
So that's kind of still on my bucket list places to go.
Oh, me too. Me too. Yeah. Got to get out there. Got to check it out. But basically what we're covering here is that humans are doing our best. Even the oil companies are helping humans this week on Happy Friday. And of course, we got to get into some cool stuff to do this week. And I'll let you get this started, Kevin.
Yeah, well, of course, Valentine's Day weekend. I'm sure a lot of folks are going to go out to dinner tonight with their significant others, maybe tomorrow. Obviously, it's NASCAR time, baby. We're going to Daytona. We're kicking the season off. Daytona 500. We've got Chase Briscoe on the pole already. That's been set. So his first go, Mark Truex Jr. is retired. Chase Briscoe steps in, puts it on the pole immediately for the Daytona 500. Helio Castroneves from Indy's in it. All weekend long, NASCAR Sky. We're going to be out there having a great time, Mash the Gas podcast, so be sure to link up, have some fun. We got the trucks out there, Xfinity Series, Cup Series. Let's go.
I like that, and definitely get behind. It's moving. If you're into petrol, you're into racing, Mash the Gas is covering that sport like nobody has before, and it is your mom's birthday this weekend and my dad's birthday.
Yep.
They share a birthday on February 16th.
February 16th. Happy birthday, Mom. Happy birthday, Captain
Papa.
Lee.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool that they share a birthday.
That's pretty cool.
I always
forget that too.
Until this time of the year when we do
there's the reason why we're good friends.
Yeah.
Definitely, if you had a successful Valentine's Day tonight, clean those sheets tomorrow on Saturday.
That's good advice, whether you had a good time or not. Just getting good bed laundry habits, Art. So I think, in general.
I mean, a good time could just be going to sleep early. Sometimes I fall asleep. I'll be like in bed, 8:45. I couldn't be happier. My feet are all like happy. I'm like, whoo, yeah.
Yeah, I know that feeling when you get nice and cozy in there.
You're like smiling when you're laying down. You're like, ah.
There's nothing like fresh bed sheets, though.
Oh, it's so nice.
You get in there, it smells good, it's comfy, it's tight, it's warm.
It's clean.
Yeah, so I like that. I think
it encourages you to take a shower. You could take a shower before you go to sleep so you keep your bed clean.
You do a bath.
Yeah.
Like an Epsom salt bath.
I've been hearing that that can help with preventing cancer, like salt baths.
I'm not sure. I took one for the first time in years recently.
Yeah.
But in any case, you could do something like that. Fact remains, enjoy your weekend, America. Thanks for spending your Friday here with us, with Arthur Rawe and myself. I'm looking forward to Daytona. We're going to get on out of here. You know where to find us. Across the board at social medias at Happy Friday USA, Twitter X at Happy Fry USA. If you want to get involved, send us a show idea. Send us some Would You Rathers. Have some fun with us. It's time for the weekend. Hit it, Fricashinas.